I've worked in many different fields. I've worked in law, I've worked in consulting, I've worked in business management and so on. And CCT is kind of an opportunity that fell into my lap, but it also was such a blessing because it allowed me to use different skills that I had from all across my pretty varied career. So that was great. But then I also looked at it and I said to myself, I have had opportunities that a lot of people haven't had. I always believe that we as Caribbean people are not any stupider than anybody else. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't have the same opportunities that people do in the quote unquote first world. So I took this as my mantra to say, hey, I have no problem bringing in outside expertise, but we have people here. Let's see if we can get those people to develop them. And I think it'd be a better solution because we'll have people who genuinely take on this network and this company as if it's theirs. In the BVI, especially Virgin Islanders can go to the college for free. So we said, if we're going to have people who are more serious about themselves, they'll be more serious about the company. So we said, any young person who wants to work for us and wants to go to college at the same time, we will plan the schedule around their college courses. That's a little thing, but it ended up being really great because we found so many great people within our staff that have risen within the ranks and that have been here for years and years. They started off in the call center, and I have two managers who started at the very bottom of our company, and they went through a similar program. And then even those who wanted to continue their education beyond that, if we could find scholarship money for them, we gave them scholarship money. So it was a really kind of, let's invest in our people, and that return we've seen over the years.
I believe in self-development. I believe in assisting others. My journey started because someone first believed in me. Dr. Drexel Glasgow was the first person, professionally that is, that inspired me and made me believe that I could be more than just. Started 12 years ago. It was September 18th. I'll never forget that day. I didn't apply for the job at all. I was recommended for the role by someone. The role was called a management analyst. I'm not sure what that meant to the CEO, but once I started, I realized that the CEO simply needed help. I focused more on the operations side, and that's probably how I ended up the chief operations officer eventually. I remember my interview very vividly with the CEO. I said to him, I want to come to work, because he asked what I wanted. So I said I wanted to come to work. I want to report to whoever is ahead, i.e. you, the CEO, and I want to go home. I don't want to be the manager of anything. So being the C-suite or part of the C-suite, I guess it's a testament to my hard work, because I often tell people I became the boss by accident. It was never a part of my journey in my mind to ever be a part of the C-suite, to be a manager, to be a leader, but I guess my dedication and my hard work resulted in me being here today.
It's actually pretty cool. Like, I've become an older person now. I don't know when it happened. I still don't consider myself old, but you young people do think I'm old. So y'all are not my children, but I still take great pride in seeing their development and seeing their success. Like, I've been in a situation where people have tried to claim my success, and I know how that feels as a young person. So I don't want to be that person, right? But even though I don't want to claim their success, I am immensely proud. One of the interesting things about living in the Virgin Islands is we have a relatively shallow labor pool. I worked at JP Morgan Chase in New York for years, and I was a senior manager. And every year I got my choice of, these are the MBAs coming out of all the top schools, and I can pick the ones that I want. One doesn't work out, I can pick another one, because there's so many different people who all want to work at JP Morgan. Here in the Virgin Islands, we don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury of saying that, there's everybody for every job and so on and so on. So we've got to figure out how to develop the people that we have. Sometimes we've got to find the person before we find the job. I almost subscribe to the philosophy, if you find me a smart person, I'll figure out something for them to do, because it goes back to, I'm a lover of sports, right? I'm a big sports junkie. And if you're a great basketball coach could be like, okay, I'm a basketball coach and I believe in a defensive mantra. I want to have the most athletic team. We're going to run a press defense all the time, so on and so on, and that's how we're going to win. And you could be a great coach like that. But to me, a better coach is a coach who says, all right, you send me 10 players. I'm going to figure out what those 10 players are good at, and we're going to build a system that works for those players. To me, in the Virgin Islands, that's how you have to be.
Your leadership strategy is very important. And there's many different types of leadership strategies. If I were to describe mine, I would definitely say it's transformative, because I'm always interested in knowing how the employees are feeling. How can I help you to be a better employee? What's going on in your personal life? And by knowing this information, I can get you more engaged. And by you being more engaged, I actually get more productivity out of you. So it's important that you understand your employees, you value your employees, and you appreciate your employees. The buy-in from your employees is also important. And if employees understand and notice that if I work hard, I'm also equally rewarded, again, you have the support and the engagement from your employees. Also, being in a small island, the labor pool is very small. So you don't have much options. So you know who you have, you don't know who you'll get. So why not develop the employees that you have, especially if they are willing to also learn and grow, because that's also important in the equation, that they have to believe that they can grow and that we will be successful.
You have to have a certain audacity about it. Like, I think we've got to, especially as Caribbean people, we've got to get over this idea that we're less than, or that we need to have big ideas and big expertise come from away. It's actually the thing I'm really, really proud of with CCT. You know, at CCT, we run a full service telecommunications company. We have wireless technology, we have wired technology, we have TV. There's literally nothing that any big telecommunications company has that we don't have. And I remember when I took over that the thought process was, would we survive? And I understand why people thought that way, because we think in the Caribbean of these big things have to come from some big country. But the truth of the matter is, we go to the same schools they go to. We use the same banks they use. We can reach out to the same manufacturers that they do. So why can't we do it? You know, and I think we got to have a certain audacity and say, hey, I believe that we're just as good as anyone else, and we can do what anyone else does anywhere else in the world.
We just simply want the best for people, for our employees. So it becomes personal to us in the sense that we just want to see the best for our employees. And because we truly care, we go to whatever extra mile is required to make sure that our employees are well developed, personally and professionally. So for instance, we ensure that they attend different trainings, different seminars, different conferences. We even do lunch and learns in the office. And it's not always about the work, but how can we develop you personally as well? Because if your mind is right, you are set.
I'm Nicoy Hendrickson, and I've been with CCT for the past 9.5 years, almost 10 this July.
Sean D. Williams, and I've been with CCT October 10th would make my 10-year this year.
My first day was actually Juve, August, Monday, 2016. Well, I did start in the end of July, but that was orientation. My first actual working day was the 9 a.m. call center shift on August, Monday. I was very much in Juve. Hours before, I came to work with paint all over my ears and different things of the sort, you know. If I look at my first day today and saw who walked in, I don't know if as HR or whomever I would have kept me. Really and truly, this was just supposed to be my quick stop while I make some money to go off to university and so forth. Never would have thought that I would still be here today, 9.5 years later.
I was nervous. My first role was sales and customer service. I had to work both positions. I mean, it's under the sales department. Reason why I had to do both, right away because I was working in the Virgin Gorda branch and it's just smaller, so I had to know how to walk in between sales and customer service. Knowing myself, honestly, when I actually like something and I'm working on, working in a field that I like, I see myself working there for a good while. I wouldn't say loyal, but once I see growth where actually working, I would basically stay. You don't want to be stagnant, in one area for too long.
I started here when I was 17, again, fresh out of high school, milk in my face. I mean, the milk kind of still in my face, but, I was fresh out of high school and essentially watching everybody ahead of me, whether Ovary, Vielka, Rukima, Mr. Penn, and so forth, and to see that where I've grown in retrospect to still reporting to them, but where they hold me and how much they've been able to grow me professionally, how much they've believed in me, whether, sponsoring me to go to school as a company and so forth. So all of those different things factor in. Name dropping is very ticklish because you don't want anybody to feel like you left them out. But off the bat, I would say Michelle Parsons. She's no longer here with the company, but she groomed, I would call it the cohort of us that came in that summer. Rukima Turnbull Keynes, just for the sake of hiring me, because CCT was my third or fourth interview that summer. And I'm like, I just want something. But she didn't treat it as just wanting something. I knew where I would be, and I've always believed in myself. But like I say, it was just supposed to be a stop. But Rukima never allowed me to just treat it like a stop. Kyle, in the most recent years, especially the past 2 years, has shown me a lot of different stuff on the networking side and fusing the front end and business with what goes on the network and being able to facilitate business growth and development, as well as train up others to be able to do the same. I'll also like to highlight Mr. Penn, our CEO, who I remember at a point in time, it was right after the storms. We were in a very difficult place as a company. And well, the company was temporarily suspending or terminating a few people, and then would bring them back on in phases. And when it came to my conversation, I'm like, well, school is reopening. If I have to choose between school and a job, I'd rather you temporarily terminate me because my education cannot be taken away from me. So that was a point where Mr. Penn and I became closer, and it has been history ever since, where he has, similarly to Rukima or Kyle, just pushed me to be more and believed in me more than I believed in myself at times.
I had issues with like a lot of procrastination and stuff. So it's like working here actually, helped me out a lot on that. I always been on my P's and Q's, especially being under Kima. I learned a lot from her. Now I'm under Brittany. I learned a lot from her as well. Even from my colleague, Nikoi.
Shandy has, what I would say, evolved into a fine young man. I've known for Shandy even before he was born, and
there we go.
We used to babysit him when he was a child.
The same thing I said.
Even in the store when we were in the Yacht Harbor, I saw this person on the road and I asked somebody who it was because I haven't seen him for a while. And somebody told me that's Shandy. I said, my Shandy? They said, yes, oh Shandy. So I was able to contact him and offer him the position if he was interested, because he was looking for work at the time. And he came on, and Shandy has grown in this company in leaps and bounds, and I'm so, so proud of him. He went from sales clerk, then he moved over to Tortola
She
and
was mad.
in the accounting field.
She was
He
mad.
was able to go to school and grow in that sector of the company where the job is concerned. And Shandy is doing a tremendous job. He can be a little sassy at times, but Shandy's a cool dude.
What's sassy, my son? Listen, boy, yeah, Lucy something else. But I learned a lot from Lucy too, knowing that I started out there. Yeah. All the hard chats and everything, yeah, learn a lot. I start off with architecture, right? I'm gonna tell you, cause drawing and all of that was my thing, and then I was like, hey, technical drawing first. Cause I was more focused on that, and then going to school, architecture I learned more of a wider thing about it, and then my brother and I was doing architecture too. I should talk to him and have him go back into school and focus on it, knowing that I move on from it, but I know he's still, in love with it. But I think when I got an opportunity for school, it was a situation where, hey, if they send me to school for architecture, how does that, work out for them? Because, this stream is a very different thing. And I was like, hey, I kind of like accounting. I thought about it a couple times, and then I was kind of moving slowly into the back where the finances, where I would help, do certain things. And I was like, hey, if that's my direction I'm going into with the company, then hey, I can study accounting. Architecture to accounting is a huge leap. I ain't gonna lie, it's a huge change, but I'm glad I took it.
The company believed in me to the point where they invested a significant amount of money in my finance degree program at Temple University. So with the government not being in a position to do it at that point in time, and CCT saying, no, we believe in you, we're going to invest in you, it meant a total lot for me, because to just have to pay it back with time, and my mom doesn't have to incur an expense, I don't have to incur an expense, just time. And I didn't mind giving back time to the place that, like you said earlier, where I grew up, the place that helped shape me into the young man that I am today. It helps to invest in the human capital of the territory as a whole, especially being the only locally owned telecommunications company here, where we employ our entire leadership team are BVI landers, from the CEO come down to the entire C-suite, the entire management suite. We're all from the Virgin Islands. So the fact that we invest in our own and promote our own to lead and shape the future of this company against the Caribbean duopoly being Flow and Digicel. Having a leader like Mr. Penn, and then by extension Rikima as human resources, who believes in the BVI and the human capital of the BVI, that we can do things as big as these other regional competitors. Being able to own our own and lead our own and be the best at it, that is something significant, where we've invested in expanding the education and the capabilities of our own people and allowing us to grow up in the company. I'd say August, September 2018, I would say that was a turning point, because that's when I came over into administration, and I'm like, oh, I was call center, then I was sales, and now I'm in the administrative team supporting the CEO. And at that time, Rikima was the human resources manager or administration manager. So being able to make that transition, I'm like, wait, hold on. Am I sure I want to be a doctor? Am I sure I want to go do these other things? But I knew then, like, okay, I have a foot in the company and the future of shaping the company. These are people who trust my judgment. Someone else saw something in me 9.5 years ago, who was just about the same age as me at that point in time. So I feel like I owe it as a duty to those behind me to do the same thing. No one ahead of me was a gatekeeper within the company, so I shouldn't be a gatekeeper. I should also try to train others, expand their knowledge on different things, bring them into certain rooms. I don't know a young person who walked into these doors who wanted more and wasn't given more.
It goes back to what I was saying about growing the Virgin Islands. We're looking for people. I tell people all the time, I'm very adamant about bringing in young people, you know, and I'm trying to keep this positive, but like, I'm not shy about necessarily letting go people to make space to bring in new people, because we're looking for people who want to grow. So if you want to grow yourself, we want to grow as a company, there's an opportunity for us to work together. I'm a big believer that like if I've got 50 people who are all growing, you don't have to ask whether the company is growing, you know, and that's kind of my fundamental gamble on the staff and on us as a community. So I think the future is bright, and my only frustration is I get really frustrated with people who don't want to grow, who don't want to become a better person. Everyone who's around me knows that my goal is to figure out, okay, what can you do better? How can you be greater than you are? You know, I don't think we ever make it in life. There's always something else we could do. You know, it doesn't necessarily even have to be about money per se. It's, you know, what are you doing to develop yourself, to make yourself a better person, to make yourself more marketable, all that. I don't even mind if people leave. People come here, they work, they do really well, they go other places, they're successful. Proud of that as well, because I think that, you know, we have to be about, the business of development is not about just development of the company. It has to be about development of the people along with the company. The most valuable asset of every company goes home every day.